promised. I mean, if you're keeping score. It is the Bialetti Rainbow. An Italian coffee maker. If you have had a Moka Pot before, and you know how bitter it can be, honestly, it's a really great way to make milk drinks. For me, I know that people like the coffee that it produces, and there's nothing wrong really with the coffee that it produces. It's not that I don't like it as much, really. It's just the fact that it is quite bitter. And trying to figure out the best way to pour this thing out here without getting it all over the place. It is quite bitter, and if you can't do espresso, but you want a nice strong milk drink, I actually think, oh my gosh, I'm going to get a fork out, aren't I? I actually think that it's a wonderful way to kind of get that fun espresso kind of flavor, but it's definitely not espresso. It's as close as I can get to espresso because there's pressure involved because the steam's pushing the water in there up and through this filter, up and through the coffee and through the filter and into up this little chimney. So there's pressure involved. It's just not nearly as much pressure as espresso. And what 6 bars of pressure is optimal for? I'm going to clean all this off. I can't do this without making a mess. The Moka floor is wonderful smelling coffee. It's nice and strong. It's just got you don't want to press, you don't want to compact, you want to let it just free. I just want to get it up to a point and leveled off, but you don't want to press. And a lot of people don't even go this far. I've seen videos where they just dump it in, it's got a nice big thing, and then they put it in and they put the top on. I'm doing the extra step as well as boiling the water in the kettle and then adding it to the base here, which is still hot from where I washed it out. So the aluminum retains heat. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it up, we're gonna fill it up right here to this relief valve, and then we're gonna assemble. Excuse me, I got a sniffles this morning. You'd think I'd be over this thing, whatever it was that I had. It is lingering. Probably because it knows I'm 48 years old and not as strong as I used to be. So, 130 degrees. So, it's, oops, a little water everywhere. Just water. It's just water. So it's like, I'll add it to the wipe down when I get all these coffee grounds out of here. Oh my gosh. The news, we're gonna have a news cycle thing that starts going faster and faster and faster again. The thing that he says is gonna be so stupid, but then the next thing he says is gonna be even dumber. So the news cycle is gonna forget that and then move on to the next one. So I just wish, I really wish they'd learned some kind of a lesson from the last time we decided to let this happen. You know, so, but we're not going to learn anything. See, you do get a little bit, look, see, it did come through the filter, because there's little holes, it's like the bottom of this, in here, so there are little holes, and that kind of just shows you that, coffee's gonna get through there, you know? So, not a lot, but just some. So yeah, it's already, I mean, it started day one, but it's continuing to spiral. Now NASA is targeting anyone that is not white and male, and it's going to be very subjective. So I saw that today. They're going to be targeting people within government positions, and I mean, there are some morons that are like, but somehow their job description has DEI in it, and it's like, well, no, it really doesn't, and no, jobs weren't created for DEI. It's a hiring practice that doesn't just go for the first smart white person that comes in. It's allowing for multiple types of people to come in and interview for the same job, and then out of that group of people, hiring the best candidate. So, and it's a way to overcome the fact that there was a point in history where they only hired white people, white men. That's all they hired, you know? So, and that's just what this is. And the people who are never going to qualify for the jobs that they're bitching about are bitching about it, you know? Everybody else who works at these places is like, I don't understand what's going on or what you people are doing. It's ridiculous. So the only people who are complaining about these things are the people that are outside, you know? It's ridiculous. And it's just going to get worse. It is just going to get worse. I can't tell if it's chips or, because I know that there's a scratch right there. I don't know what that hit, because this hits up here. So I know where this comes from, but I've got this little scratch right here, and I'm not sure where that came from. It might have been a thing that happened before we moved in. I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm going back and forth. I really don't want to talk about it too much, but it's just on my brain, and it's eating away at me. And I'm like, I know my platform is not big. I know it's not the ideal space to talk about such things, but somebody's got to. I mean, you've got so many people out there with so much influence. They've got millions upon millions of people that follow them on YouTube, and they're so entrenched in the money that they're earning that they just are just wishy-washy and useless, you know, in the grand scheme of things. They're just useless. This thing is now boiling hot, by the way. It instantly hits the 200-degree mark once that water starts pouring in there. So it is dangerously hot to grab a hold of. So that's why you take your towel. I mean, honestly, it's probably a lot safer if you don't want to take these kind of measures, to just put it on the stove with cold water in the base and let it heat up gradually. This is just for the sake of brevity. And yeah, see, the heat's even come through the towel. It's so hot. But you do want to make sure it's screwed on there. You want to make sure the threads are in the right spot, and you want to make sure it is nice and tight, because water and coffee will start coming out the bottom. That's what happened with my old one. The old one had that issue where stuff came out of the bottom of it because I didn't screw it in right. So we've got this wonderfully well-ground Italian coffee, probably just right made for the Moka Pot, you know? I mean, it says Moka Flora coffee. I mean, so obviously, I mean, there's no instructions for Moka, is there? I didn't see any. Just a bunch of research and a lot of flavor text, and then where it was roasted and packed. It's aluminum-free coffee, which, you know, I like my coffee like I like my baked potato, without any aluminum in it. That's a pretty easy thing to say. But yeah, it's just the stuff that started coming through this morning, because we're all doom scrolling right now, and a lot of us are just doom scrolling, biting our nails and going, oh God, what am I going to do? And I really wish some of these people with millions upon millions of subscribers and viewers and whatnot would just get some courage. And I mean, of course, there was a week where we were like dependent on Swifties to help us, and boy, that didn't work, did it? I question Swifties now. I'm not. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing. I don't listen to Taylor Swift music. She seems like a fine person. I don't know anything about her, though. Only thing I know about her is what I've read and seen on TV, and she seems kind and sweet and thoughtful. I don't know her personally. I don't know her business practices, but get just a little bit of coffee out of here. The Swifties did not come through for anyone, I would say. So I don't know. I'm trying my best. It's difficult to I just find, I mean, I don't know how other people do it. I find it difficult to chug along without talking about it, you know? People can just tune it out and have a production and follow a script and, you know, not care about a significant portion of the population that's watching their content, you know? And it blows my mind that they can do that. I mean, the reason you are popular is the people that are about to see some significant hardships in one way or another. And yeah, you're just so removed from everything. Okay, so we're gonna let this go. And what's happening right now, if you don't know Moka Pot physiology, the water down there that was already at a $200 boil is continuing to boil, and it's building up some pressure, and the bed of coffee is helping hold back some of that pressure, allowing it to build up and force itself up and into the coffee chamber. And then, as you can kind of see here, the pressure is now pushing the coffee out through the chimney. And it's kind of a dance. Some people are able to turn off the heat and just let it naturally just bubble all the way up and do its thing, because I think it's because they get it so hot. The residual heat will do that. Other people kind of sit here and fluctuate the temperature back and forth to get it to do what they want it to do. This constant stream of coffee is so cool coming out the top. Is it because I maybe packed it just a little bit too much that it's coming out like that? I don't know. I'll just turn it off. Usually it lavas a lot more like that. It's more of a big, nice, big, juicy flow coming out of it. Now we're experiencing a trickle, and it might be because I filled it up to the top and then smoothed it out. Maybe I pressed it a little too much and the coffee's a little too compact. Because as weird as it might sound, as much as we like to avoid channeling, I think a big part of this coffee pot relies on the water kind of channeling itself up and through. I mean, the entire bed of coffee is going to get wet, and all of the water at the very end is going to come up through everything because we're saturating, basically. But, you know, there are still going to be these little pockets of the channeling that come up through the coffee bed. And I almost want to say that this kind of needs that in order to relieve the pressure. Yeah, I'm gonna pop that back up just a little bit and see if we can get the flow going a little bit more. This pot is not cooling down, but the pressure is dropping. And I did fill it up with hot water. So yeah, there we go. Now we've got more of a steady stream coming out. All right, we'll turn that off now. See what we get out of it. And we'll pour the first little bit into this cup, and we'll taste some of that bitter coffee. And then I'll get the milk out. And I'm not gonna froth, I'm just gonna put some milk in it to kind of balance out the harsh bitterness. I stopped by the half and half section, and I'm like, and there are just tons of flavors of half and half, and I'm like, I really don't want flavor half and half. Creamy half and half is enough, because I think it's got a little sugar in it anyway. I think you can get it without sugar, but okay, there we go. Ooh, yep. There we go, okay. Now we're getting to the part where the water, I mean, there's a little tube at the bottom, so it's kind of shooting itself up the tube of the coffee filter puck thing. It's going up, filling up the coffee filter puck, and then channeling itself through the other strainer that's down here and up and into the chimney, and then out into the coffee container here. So when it gets down to the bottom, it gets a little bit more harder to push, I think, because there's not as much water pressure. You're getting a lot less water pressure as, you know, everything gets put out there. And I know I filled the reservoir full of water, and normally it tends to fill this reservoir up quite a bit. We might not get that today. Like I said, I may have overdone it on the packing accidentally. I didn't mean to pack it down too much, but apparently I did. It's still bubbling down there. Oop, no, that's the wrong one, isn't it? Hang on while I catch myself on fire. And there's a kind of a delicate balance going on as well, because you don't want to burn it. You know what I mean? You don't want to burn the coffee. You don't want to give it an even more bitter flavor than it already has. See, that's more of what I was looking for, about that full. I just need just a little extra touch, a little extra push. There we go. Give it a good stir, because the first bit of coffee that came out is pretty strong, but then the last bit of coffee that came out is a little weaker. So we want to balance out those humors, as the ye old doctors would say. All right. Handle's not so hot because there wasn't a constant there wasn't a constant stream of heat blowing onto this thing. Let that cool just a smidge. I'm gonna grab my smaller mug, and then I'll grab the milk. Now, do you pour the milk in and then pour the coffee in, or do you pour the coffee in and pour the milk in? I mean, I think that's, I mean, if you're making latte art, of course it's the coffee first, the latte art next. If you're just making a coffee with milk, I think personally I would prefer to have the milk in first, and then you finish it out with the coffee. I think that's plenty of milk. Oh, it is. It's not bad. It's actually, it's not as bitter as I was expecting. I've had far more bitter coffees that were pre-ground that were from, I think, from Italy. I think the Illy, I did Illy in this once, and it was super bitter. It didn't taste great. This actually has a little bit of a chocolate taste to it. I mean, it's incredibly bitter. But it's good. It's actually not bad at all. So let's do some fun color changing here. Make it a nice little brown. There we go. How much do we have left in there? A little bit. Add the rest of you in here. There we go. There's nothing like coffee with milk. There's nothing like incredibly bitter coffee with milk. It salvages the coffee. But like I said, this is not bad at all. This actually tastes rather chocolatey. It's still bitter, but oh, the milk evens it out, you know, it just does. And it gives it just a little bit of more sweetness to off-balance the incredible bitter flavor that the Moka Pot brings out of coffee. It's definitely a wonderful way to make your coffee different and kind of break the routine if you have time, if it's something that you were interested in or wanted to do. If you're in Italy, probably an everyday thing. If you're in America, we've bastardized a lot of different things. Coffee is another one of them. We filled it with sugar and fruits and nuts and just creams and everything. Dunkin' Donuts, their latest commercial, it's the dumbest thing ever. It's a really dumb commercial. Hi, buddy. I'm sorry, you weren't the center of attention today. Well, I guess you can be the center of attention now. Come on. Yeah. How are you doing today, hon? Yes, a good boy. Thank you so much for watching. I know this was a weird week. I had several coffee posts this week. It's probably why I'm low on stuff to talk about today. But it is Thursday, so we will be back next Tuesday with some... I have no words of wisdom, just observances of idiocy. So I'll be back on Tuesday with that. We'll see what kind of coffee I can dig out, and we'll have a conversation. I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great weekend. Be safe out there. I think our cold temperatures, the -degree temperatures are over for us here in Ohio anyway, at least the central part of the state. So we should it should be better dog walking weather out there for everyone. But of course that means it's going to warm up again and the snow is going to melt and it's going to be brown. Oh well, it's okay. I hope you have a great weekend and we will talk to you on Tuesday. Say bye, Indy. We'll see you later. Bye.